your mother. It's time for another episode of Birds with Friends. Just a trio of feathery brethren weathering any season to see the Eagles eat teams like Scrammy's top with cheese. It's Philadelphia. Bo, Sheil, and Zach kicking it cooler than 3 penguins till Zach runs off with his valet keys. He's a real nuanced goose. Pull up a branch, get loose. It's time for some juice on some Birds with Friends. The early bird gets the worm, but prefers getting turned like a turn on some Birds with Friends. Bo, Sheil, and Zach coming at you with stats and things flapping their wings.
Statistics, they can be like bathing suits. What they, what.
Finish it up. Sometimes you gotta take them off.
What the hell?
What they show is revealing, but what they conceal is vital, right? So.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Birds with Friends on a Tuesday night. Bo Wolf, Marissa Morris, Sheil Kapadia, Zach Berman here to talk about the second of 2 joint practices with the New England Patriots. Maybe we'll dive a little bit into what we're expecting to see Thursday night in the second game of the preseason for the Eagles. We're going to do a little sliding Baltimores for just thinking through the thought exercise of what things would be like these days if Josh McDaniels was the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to bring back Swooper Soarcasting. Very exciting. Wetting your palate for the regular season. We will do the first of 3 Swooper Soarcastings over the next 3 weeks for full season predictions. And we are live on YouTube now, so that means you need to give us your suggestions. Give Marissa some suggestions for Swooper Soarcasting possibilities. Could be things like Quez Watkins has a 100-yard game at some point this season. Could be Jake Elliott misses a game-winning field goal at some point. Maybe you want to go for a mirror play. Anything you want, and we'll pick 3 of those out, and we will close with wagering our turkeys on those bad boys. But otherwise, how are we doing, Zach? How are you?
Doing great. Excited for this podcast. I'm sorry that these joint practices with the Patriots are finished. These were an enjoyable 2 days, but game Thursday night and then Jets next week. So a lot to look forward to as well.
Marissa, how are you feeling about the looming Jets-Eagles joint practices, given your responsibilities producing whatever the name of that Jets show is?
Well, like probably all head coaches, I'm concerned about any fights. I just want everyone to get out healthy. So yeah, hopefully, when you guys are going up to New York, right?
Yes.
It's in or Jersey, I should say. Come on. So I'm hoping everyone stays healthy, no fights, and we all, get along nicely.
No promises from our end.
And
Sheil,
yes.
Sheil, how are you?
Yeah, I'm looking most forward to Z-Berm's reaction, feedback, responses to the segment he missed yesterday. He had to leave early for yesterday because I think there was a lot we covered there in the last 15 minutes or so. I thought a lot of feedback on social media specifically about that segment and the topics covered. My wife just texted me recently. She said, let's see what it is here. Need assistance with the dishwasher. The top rack is breaking into pieces. So it sounds like she heard the dishwasher conversation yesterday and is saying, let's capitalize on this bad boy. And as some of you reached out to me on Twitter, said, you said you're waiting for the dishwasher to be broken, but the dishwasher is leaking and you have to put a towel down. I think that qualifies as broken. So we'll see. Who knows? We could have a dishwasher uncle or auntie in here. But
well, Sheil, I'm glad you brought that up because the reaction to yesterday's show has just flooded in with many people who want to join the hashtag ban Lowe's or get rid of Lowe's movement that we are starting. So let me read an email.
I think it'll be you.
Yeah. We don't need to read.
Oh, were you guys scared of big corporate America?
No, if you need a pitch man, I'm always open for business, regardless of what Bo's.
Listen, I want Autobahn appliances. We want the mom and pop. Okay. So here's
Sheil might need a new dishwasher. He needs to be
from a listener who I will remain anonymous just in case he doesn't want this out there. I heard you guys talking about Lowe's on the last pod and wanted to share my experience. I started working at Lowe's after grad school just to earn some extra cash. My general impression is the entire company is desperate for new people. How else would you get someone like me with zero experience in anything trying to explain to some poor woman in the hardware department how she can add shelves to her pantry? I shudder to think of the effects to her beloved home after our brief conversation. Employees receive little to no training and are just ushered out onto the floor so the store has some warm bodies. I didn't even get a red vest. Biggest scam ever. Also, people are entirely too trusting of the advice from Lowe's employees. I mean, I don't even have a vest on. How could I possibly know what I'm talking about? He says, thanks, big fan. We also have a DM from another listener who shares the story of his aunt, his 63-year-old aunt, who worked at Lowe's for 15 years and was an essential worker in the beginning part of the pandemic and then was unceremoniously laid off in the spring. So lots of good stuff going on. No surprise, big corporate America full of ghouls. This is no surprise, but let's keep the momentum going.
You can, of course, follow me on Instagram at Sheil Kapadia here over my shoulder. Thank you. Looks like Amanda just saw the poster there and followed me. And the commenters are already bringing it. Of course, the big play today, Jaylen Reagor skying up for the one-handed grab in the corner of the end zone. Fantastic catch. And so a couple comments here already. One says, this is from Humza, says, expecting Sheil to retract all former statements and definitively declare Reagor the best wide receiver of his draft class. I got to admit, it gave me some juice. I was thinking maybe there is some hope a day after I said I'm going to delete all my former takes. And then Kermo Man, I believe it is, says, has Z-Berm said Reagor is one of the better Eagles since last season? So good job. Keep those coming.
Well, Sheil, also very quickly.
Say,
go ahead, Zach.
Go ahead.
Have we lost you? Have you lost me?
I think we lost Zach. I can hear myself.
Okay.
Marissa,
yeah.
you can
I
hear
was going
me,
to say.
correct? Okay, I can take the show.
Is it my internet or is it Bo's internet?
Boy, this episode's off to a fast
start. Sorry. So
go ahead.
So Zach. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Great. So we got into that whole Lowe's rant, but we didn't get into what happened at practice today, right?
We're gonna get to we got all episode to get to what happened in practice. Let's get the nonsense out of the way first, because I need to say, people are asking, also over Sheil's shoulder, as he has the Instagram handle behind his head, a very nice shirt from Kutztown. You can notice that I'm wearing the K for Kutztown in my visor. Friend of the show, Aaron, has sent us some swag. Zach has some as well, and he wants us to plug Kutztown. You may remember several months ago we said that please send us your swag. We can be bought by anyone. Aaron took us up on this, so
including Lowe's. Yeah.
So a few notes. Coach Larry Chester led the team to their best finish in recent years. Last year, 1 win, but still. And he has embraced analytics, choosing to forego field goals and punts in favor of first down attempts and seeing every kickoff as another opportunity to try an onside kick. The team roster hovers in the low 20s, comprised of students from Kutztown and neighboring Brandywine School District.
Well, so Kutztown is well known in the football community as the school that produced John Mobley, former Super Bowl winning linebacker, right? He was a big story coming from Kutztown. I think he's a Chester guy. And so that was a big
Chester, I don't even know it.
You guys are frozen on my screen.
That's Kutztown University you're speaking of, Z-Berm, right?
Yes, is that not what we are? Oh, we're referring to the high school here?
This is a Kutztown high school. And since I am a team player and Bo has no problem making you look bad, Z-Berm, we forgot to tell you that this was going to be Kutztown Day. So you didn't get the swag and then just choose not to wear it. That is our fault, because Bo and I were walking to our cars today and we said, let's break out the Kutztown stuff today. We didn't realize
I thought it was on a Coach Flynn text or something.
But no, we didn't realize that you also were a recipient. So go Kutztown.
By the way, how quickly do you guys get out of those practices?
Well, we don't dilly dally in the media hut. There's no reason for us to go there.
No,
I'm just going home to work.
The press conference is finished. I look around. You're nowhere to be seen.
Listen, it's a miracle I made it even through the press conferences today. I'll be honest with you. So that was a win in my book. All right. So Jaylen Reagor.
Okay. So let's go to the Quackers report. Okay. And now we can talk about what happened in practice. Zach, go ahead.
Well, first, let's just get the injuries and the participation out of the way. Devontae Smith was back first day of team drills. Didn't do anything really in team drills in that in my notes, he wasn't targeted and I watched the entire offense. But he was out there, which is significant. And so we spoke yesterday about how he's progressing. The fact that he's in team drills, got hurt July 31st. That's big news. Second, Derek Barnett and Javon Hargrave, 2 starters on the defensive line, both injured day to day. Okay. So injuries to monitor. Wouldn't be worried about them for the season, but obviously they were not at practice. And then Jake Elliott day to day with an ankle injury. And that's interesting, of course, because they have a game on Thursday. So I believe you guys are probably laughing at things coming up on the screen.
This is why you got to watch it. Okay. YouTube if you're listening.
No. Let me pause here. So Bo has access that you guys don't.
Oh, that's
not me.
Doing this.
Usually I'm the one that can put things on the screen, but since Bo now has our login information, I just had a panic attack when I saw something pop up on the screen, and now all of a sudden he's just clicking everything.
Well, there are some
Lowe's man wins. There's some good comments.
So Jake Elliott, what it's going to be interesting there is that he has this ankle injury, so he did not practice today. They have this game Thursday. If he can't kick, do they burn a roster spot on a kicker by adding one? Do they go with Sipas the punter or contingencies? This is relevant because someone could theoretically.
Would they really do that?
Who cares?
That would be ridiculous. Add a kicker.
I agree, but
if he's going to be back for the regular season, that would be quite a.
So just have Sipas.
Have anybody.
I don't need to have Sipas kick off and then don't kick field goals.
I would say do kick field goals. Coaches love this stuff. Coaches love preparing for stuff like this.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Jake Elliott gets injured in the first quarter. What are you going to do? They're going to be so excited. They would be so excited to talk about this. Let me tell you, if they got to have the emergency kicker kick in a preseason game and then get to talk about how this was preparation for if it happens in the regular season, there's nothing that gets coaches more excited than stuff like that.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So there you go there. And then also Kerryon Johnson waived injured, Luke Jurigo waived injured, and Casey Tucker waived injured. The notable one there, Kerryon Johnson, I think there was some excitement about him. I know there was some excitement about him when the Eagles claimed him off waivers. He has a knee injury, and that knee injury is going to keep him out for some time. And so it was going to be hard to make the roster with that injury. So waived injured there, and that increases the chances of Jordan Howard making the team. And I think Jordan Howard had the edge up before.
Do you think he's going to make the team, Zach? Can you hear me? Do you think that Jordan Howard is going to make the team?
Hear you. Yeah.
Yes, I do think Jordan Howard's going to make the team.
I think that would be such a failure. I don't know. There's no reason to keep him.
No, we're not having this Jordan Howard conversation this early in the podcast. Sorry.
He's a vested veteran. Let him go. Bring him back in week 2.
Let's talk about practice.
Yeah,
if you want to have a Jordan Howard, because I heard you complaining about this on the sideline today, and I don't need to hear it again 10 hours later.
Well, okay, let's get to the important. Let's get to the
then you may. That is not among my top 10 takeaways from today's
Let's get to the important part of practice today, the thing that everybody's talking about. And that, of course, is, I believe, what Sheil described as his lowest moment of the summer, which was a conversation between me and someone else in which someone else was just bringing up all the things that I've been correct about with players on the roster over the past few years. And Sheil standing next to me, or next to the other person, looked nauseous.
Devontae Smith, you mentioned earlier, Zach. I noticed after, he was doing kind of the routes on air portion of practice, and then I noticed him it seemed like he was begging an assistant, like, let me get a rep in there on one-on-ones. And, I don't think it's it's not, I feel like you have a name for this, a try-hard. Don't you call people that sometimes? I've heard you use that, right?
Yes, but that's like a negative connotation.
Right. That's what I mean. So okay. I don't think that's what this is. I think it's very authentic. I think he's just like, I get questioned about my size the entire pre-draft process. Now I suffer a little bit of an injury. I'm fine. Let me get out there. Let me practice. But of course they were being cautious about it. But he's certainly moving in the right direction. It was a big wide receiver day. I thought maybe it's just because it was a short practice and we saw a lot of one-on-ones. But what were your vantage points? Well, Bo is gone. Zach, what was your vantage point for that Jaylen Reagor catch? I'll tell you mine. I was on the sideline and he was in the corner of the end zone away from me. You might have been standing.
I was on the side. Yeah, I was there, and it annoyed me because yesterday I was behind the end zone. Yeah. But today I wanted the sideline because I wanted to hear some. I was hoping to hear some sideline chatter.
Good job, Marissa. Players. By the way, knocking Bo off. Thank you for that.
But yeah, so that catch though, I'll let you describe it. But as well as we can describe something, I think the video would. I don't think we could do it justice. So check out the video. It's actually, if you go to the practice observations on The Athletic, that video is embedded, so you can check that out.
Yeah, it was, I believe it was like a fade, right? One-on-one on the outside. He runs a fade. And I actually had in my notes that he earlier had run a fade and it had like no chance of being completed, like no separation. The ball was not thrown in a place where he could make a contested catch. But this one, he skies up for it. And with his right arm and right hand, I believe, right? Goes up there and just grabs it with one hand, comes down with it. I thought his reaction was cool right afterwards. He was not playing it cool, like no big deal. He was like, let's go like that. He was very excited about it. So here's a half-baked theory about Jaylen Reagor. Z-Berman, you tell me what you think about this as Bo gets his Wi-Fi sorted out there. So I
he looks like he's in 1996 right now, right?
I gotta say I'm loving this version of Bo. Marissa, I don't know if we can make this happen often. Yeah. Hopefully he can hear us now, but he can't speak. That would certainly be even better. But Zach, so what I noticed was he had that play, and then they're going through one-on-ones. And I noticed that Greg Ward had like the last rep there on one-on-ones, and he comes down with a catch, I believe, in the end zone. No one's paying attention, but Reagor is the only guy, runs over to him and, congratulates him, whatever, says good job. So I sort of feel like, and again, this is a half-baked, you look at an anecdote and you say, maybe this could be something. I sort of feel like Reagor could be the type of guy who you want to get involved early in a game, get him some touches, don't allow him to be frustrated, get him pumped, get him involved, and it can maybe sort of change his total engagement throughout the course of a game. What do you think about that half-baked theory?
Well, so I see your point, and it has validity. That said, he had a drop later in practice, right? Like a bad drop. And the day when, this was the best catch at training camp since his last catch, right? He had a catch on I think it was a Friday practice a few weeks ago after he got chewed out by Sirianni. The next day has this great catch. And that was similarly like a one-hand leaping catch in the end zone. Then a few plays later, he had a drop, right? So I think they're and I don't mean to pick on Nelson, but I think there's almost like an Aguilar element here.
You've been on that for a while. Yeah. You see that big time, huh?
Yeah. Where like you're going to have both extremes, you're going to have like some spectacular plays, and then you're going to have some plays where you just want to like pull your hair out. I think that's, and by the way, the drops, like this was an issue when he was in college, right? And it was blamed on the poor quarterback, Max Dugan. But clearly this is something that they need to monitor. But the flip side of it is he has rare ability, like the 42-inch of vertical. You could see that. And he has really strong hands, like Odell Beckham-esque. That catch to grip that, the one that he had a few weeks ago, he caught it on the nose of the football. So that just goes to show you the type of receiver he is. So Sheil can be right after all.
Marissa, I was noticing at Browns practice, I wonder if you've observed this at all. I was watching Odell Beckham a lot on the sideline. And again, this is a 2-day stint. I'm not there. I don't have any inside information on this, but I was struck by how engaged he was and how much he was, he wasn't fully participating, but he was just talking up every teammate and was smiling and making jokes and pumping guys up after reps. Have you've been to a lot of Browns practices. Is that much ado about nothing, or is that sort of his normal demeanor?
Honestly, my area is very far from the action of what's going on, but I will say Michael has nothing but the nicest things to say about him. As
Look
a
at that
teammate.
inside information.
Last summer during camp, he knew his name right away. He said he is such a good guy and such a good teammate. So I would believe that if that's what you saw, I would believe that's true.
Okay, there you go. He had this great, again, you can, the Instagram handles there, but that was one of my favorite clips I captured on my trip was he was stretching, but also like dancing. And it was this like, I don't know if this had been practiced before or what, but it was, I was like very impressed by his hybrid warm-up routine. Bo, how are you?
Bo was like trying to steal my job. He's like,
is he
commenting now as my, normally I'm the only one that comments under Birds with Friends. Now he's calling people out, telling people they're spelling Sheil's name wrong. I usually like to be nice to the chat.
Yeah, he's trying to cut me out of the show and say he likes the show with all Sheil and all Zach, but he spelled Sheil's name wrong. So
listen, for that comment, I'll take.
Now you're trying to cut me out.
Yeah, that's okay.
So I just want to address something that's coming up in the comments real quick because I think it's a reference to. No,
everybody wants to know, Zach.
By the way, that was a ridiculous conversation. We will get to that in a minute. But,
what do you mean?
So I don't have the comments. It was a previous comment, but the person asked it twice about Eagles fans asking for another Super Bowl. It was probably a reference to what I had in the practice observations today. It was interesting during stretching. The Eagles were stretching on the field next to the sideline, so they were closest to the fans. This is the only field for those who aren't at practice where fans are on the sideline. And so there was a group of fans screaming at the players. It was humorous to listen to. One said, "Hey, Landry, welcome to Philly." And Landry was Landon Dickerson. And, Landon said hello. And they were doing the EAGA.
Landry was Landon Dickerson?
Yeah, he called him Landry, which is fine. It was
like Friday Night Lights.
It was an innocent mistake. And so they were doing the Eagles chant, and then this one guy said, like, I've been, you guys are new. I've been an Eagles fan my whole life, and I need another Super Bowl. And so I quoted that in my practice observations, and then I wrote, something like, after all, it's been 3 years since they won one, right? By no means was I saying, like, you shouldn't expect this. I was just making a reference that, like, how quickly things turn to, you need another one after winning one 3 years ago. So there's nothing wrong with that expectation. I was just simply trying to set the scene for our readers. So I wasn't passing judgment whatsoever. Just want to make that clear.
You got caught taking a shot at the poor old fan.
It wasn't a shot. It wasn't a shot at all. It was giving context for the readers. That's all.
Okay. Yes. All right. Very good. All right.
Wait. So do you want that conversation from last night? I listened to the
let's
podcast.
Go. Yeah,
I listened to the podcast last night, and it was entertaining in that, like, you guys are enjoyable. Not you guys, the three of you, Marissa as well. You're good company in a car ride, right? Like, you have you on. It's just people speaking, but some things are. I'm not very interested in people's underwear depth chart. Like, that to me there's
you're going to get crushed in the comments.
You guys
the commenters speak up now.
You guys are smart people. You guys are smart people. You can provide a lot of good, interesting conversation. Your underwear depth chart.
We're not that smart.
That was by far the most important and relevant discussion during yesterday's podcast. And I got a lot of feedback on it. People are all in on the longer boxer brief. This is it. This is a new trend I found out. I didn't know others were doing it. See, I was like you, Zach. I was afraid to talk about it. I didn't know. I talk about it, and now you find out there's all these people who are doing the same thing and really telling you, yes, this is new. This is bringing me a new comfort level. And so, listen, you don't have to share. Your people are asking. There's a lot of interest there.
All right, so I will get this over with. Otherwise, this will go on, and my wife will be like, the fact that you don't answer it makes it a bigger deal than what it is. Well, first off, too, I actually agreed with Bo. Sheil's point about the longer boxer briefs, like, longer is a relative term. It's within context of whatever boxer briefs you were wearing before. So perhaps Bo had been wearing the normal size all along, but like you were just wearing shorter boxer briefs. So
no, I was wearing regulation size and made the switch.
So if you wear them really long, like then they'll go beyond the shorts. Then you look like the basketball player who wears it below the. So, anyways, this is not something I
hashtag Zach's underwear in the gym.
No, so I wear Uniqlo boxer briefs. Those are the boxer briefs that I wear.
You need to get a sponsorship deal with them.
Yeah, please.
I'm gonna reach out to the ad team right now.
Yeah. What percentage of your clothes are Uniqlo? Every time we compliment you on something, it's Uniqlo.
Yeah. So they and I mean my depth chart is I'll say this, and by no means when I say this, like I am perfectly capable of doing laundry. Like I did but my wife is very much type A, and like she does the laundry in our house, and she does it like all the time, right? And so I am I'm a top of the pile dresser in that, like whatever is on I don't care about like I'm not digging 3 shirts in or 3 boxers in, whatever is on the top, I am wearing. And so so it's like, I probably don't go like, 7 or 8 deep, like you guys do, because it's cleaned pretty frequently. So that's my explanation.
Okay, there will be many follow-up questions, I think, in the comments, but we can go back to some. I don't understand the top of the thing. Come on, you want to pick what you want to wear, you want to coordinate it. But anyway, what were you're
not the top of the pile guy.
No,
we have to kill time before Bo gets back.
No,
Michael is the exact same way, and I am just like your wife. I am doing laundry 24/7, and if the same shirt is clean and it's at the top, he will wear it every day in a row. Yeah.
Thank you.
Totally
I have something in common with an NFL player.
There you go.
They're just like us, right?
Yeah, but Bo is probably like obviously missing the Ospreys and all of that. Those tech issues were like a big deal for him, but I'm sure missing this conversation is like really killing him right now.
We're definitely gonna have to revisit it for sure. All right, Z-Berm, here are some things I have that stood out. Other things that stood out to me. Yep. Here in practice, you can play off these and of course provide your own. Quez Watkins continues to impress me. Like I think if you were just what is it, like the alien test, right? If you were an alien, just dropped on some Eagles practices and you didn't know who any of the players were or where they came from, and you watched the wide receivers, you would be like, other than that Jaylen Reagor catch, you'd be like, Quez Watkins is the best wide receiver on this team. I mean, and he's not just at least in practice. Now, again, you're not getting hit, so I need to see this in the game, but he has not been a one-trick pony in practice. He was, I had him cooking JC Jackson on one-on-ones. I had him cooking Jalen Mills. I mean, these are starting caliber players in one-on-ones. And so I continue to be impressed with him and kind of the confidence that maybe he built up a little bit in the first preseason game. It seems like it's carried on to this week in practice. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. And frankly, it's been this way. And I'm so happy we're talking about this, by the way. I would love if we could delete like the last 15 minutes of the podcast and just talk about football. All right. This would make me so happy.
Not happening.
Yeah.
That's enough football talk.
Quez Watkins, ever since he returned from what they called a non-COVID illness, this has been consistent. Like this wasn't the preseason game. This wasn't a 2 or 3 days. He's consistently been productive. He's not just a deep threat. He's making catches across the middle. You saw today, Sheil, in the one-on-ones. He had a great route against Jalen Mills to get open and was like pretty emphatic again. He was talking back to
chirping.
Jalen, right?
Yeah, they were chirping.
So Quez Watkins was with the first team today when Reagor and Devontae Smith were on the field. It certainly looks like it's going to be those 3 as the top 3. Quez Watkins is going to play a lot this year, and he's earned it based on what we've seen so far.
I'm sorry, guys. I had to, find some better Wi-Fi. Can we go back to the
promise you did not miss.
Can we go back to the underwear discussion? What did I miss?
No.
I said you're probably like Osprey missing the Ospreys was like here, and then missing the underwear discussion was like just underneath.
Humza thought that maybe you went to go grab some underwear to show an example of the different lengths of the boxer briefs, but I don't. It does not appear that.
I could show you off my starting 11, like who plays what position.
Yeah, I think that would be good. All right, so that's Quez. I thought. Now I don't want to make too much out of this because there have been multiple practices over the years where we could have said this, but it's at least worth mentioning that JJAW I thought had a nice day in the red zone, right? He caught a couple touchdowns. I thought he showed some strong hands down there. Now, that is an area where if he's going to contribute at all, that is the area where you would like him to contribute. So I think those were the wide receivers that sort of stood out.
I think the JJAW conversation comes down to – now, Zach, I know you put in your practice report today that if you were making your 53, you would include JJ Arcega-Whiteside. I think the question comes down to who would you rather have on your roster, him or Greg Ward?
I don't think it's either or, honestly.
I don't think it has to be, but I think you don't need both of them.
Well, I think you're going to keep 6 receivers.
Why?
You don't have to, but I think they'll keep 6 receivers.
But
why?
Well, where do you want to go heavy as an alternative, Bo?
Offensive line, defensive line, and maybe linebacker.
Okay.
Or running back. I don't know. Like and less about going heavy and more about like, aren't there going to be other receivers who you can claim with the number 6 waiver priority who are going to be better than JJ Arcega-Whiteside? I just don't know what he's given you at this. I mean, yeah, he had a good day today, but he had a great summer last summer, and he did nothing.
I agree with that. But if you're going based on like a new coaching staff, you go with what you see. He's risen to the occasion. Frankly, you can say he's played better than Travis Fulgham during this training camp, and I wouldn't necessarily. I don't know if I would have that take, but I wouldn't say like Travis Fulgham has outplayed JJ so significantly.
Right. But Travis Fulgham had more receiving yards in one game than JJ Arcega-Whiteside's had in his career. Almost.
Look, I'm not pounding the table on keeping JJ Arcega-Whiteside. I'm just saying like they're not going to keep John Hightower anymore, right? And so if they keep 6 receivers. JJ is one of the top 6. Now, if they keep 5 receivers and they go 4 tight ends, then JJ doesn't make it because I think Greg Ward makes it.
I think it can be, we can get away a little bit from like the week 1 roster is different than the cut down day roster. You know what I mean? Like, I think they could go enter cut day with 4 receivers and 3 tight ends or something like that. And then they do some shuffling.
Sure, they could. I mean, yeah, sure they could.
I like Greg Ward too, and he's like he's one of my favorite. Like press conference wise, he's great. But like, what's the upside there, and what's the upside with JJ? Like, I don't. You could tell me that like John Hightower has more upside than him.
Well, yeah, I mean this is the last receiver on the roster, so you're probably not going to have a guy with like Stephon Diggs. Upside there. So it depends what you want. Do you want a guy who can contribute on special teams, or do you want that guy who, if somebody gets injured, can come in and be a starting caliber player? I mean, that guy might not even exist. So I'm sure we will have plenty of time for those roster conversations. I thought the red zone drill with the Patriots offense against the Eagles defense was very strange. I mean, Cam Newton, I've never seen a quarterback check it down.
Never in my life.
From the 10-yard line.
So what you're talking about is not when the full team was there, but when they were on the middle field?
Well, Correct. What's interesting is that there was it was weird because this was the first period. There was a second period where the Eagles offense was doing full team red zone against the Patriots defense, but the Patriots offense was doing 7-on-7 against the Eagles defense. And I didn't know how to read that. Like, it could have been that they just thought this was going to give them a better opportunity to evaluate the quarterbacks because their offensive line, their second team offensive line is just getting destroyed by the Eagles' second team defensive line, and they can't evaluate the quarterbacks well enough. And that was sort of backed up by the fact that at the end of practice, Mac Jones was working with the starting offensive line. Like they kept the starting offensive line out for both periods with Cam Newton and with Mac Jones. So I think that is what was going on. And to Sheil's point, like never in my life have I seen a quarterback like check down so much in 7-on-7s.
Well, so the fascinating thing, and I don't mean to cut you guys off, but when I asked
Better to be cut off than cut on
at practice about what was going on in that middle field, because I was watching the Eagles offense versus Patriots defense, and like an Eagles reporter kind of like I was hearing that same type of sentiment regarding Cam Newton. And then I read the Patriots coverage from this practice, and it was saying how this was like Cam Newton's best practice in over a week, and how good
it was
Cam
bizarre
looked.
to me.
And so I mean, perhaps it's something like within the Patriots offense, this is what they want him to do. I don't know, but from the Patriots interpretation of today was that Cam Newton looked great.
The Patriots writers or the Patriots themselves?
The Patriots writers.
Yeah, I think that's
I don't
the problem.
know. Belichick didn't call me up, so I don't know what Belichick.
No, my
he was too busy talking to Mike Lombardi throughout practice.
Which yeah, he was athletic contributor. Mike Lombardi was there, and they were chatting for most of practice. So like I said yesterday, I don't know how engaged Belichick is in some of these events right now. He didn't seem overly involved, but I don't know. I've never seen a drill like that where you're at the 10-yard line and you're checking it down to like the 5 or the 7, and those are considered.
And have you guys
plays.
talked about the Kayvon Wallace thing?
Well, that's what I was just going to get to. And then so Kayvon Wallace from the sideline seems like he has a great personality. I think he called him the check down king, right? Was that it, Bo?
Check down king. That's right.
Check down king. He yelled at him, and Cam heard it and looked over and smiled. And then they went back and forth. So that was kind of a fun little, I guess, subplot. It didn't really get chippy. I mean, was there anything even close to a fight today? I don't think so.
Not today. That's because.
But the response from Cam Newton was, if you guys play man, then maybe I will.
Oh, okay. See, I missed that part. All right.
Well, and a quick note to the commenters. So Swooper Soarcasting, you have to frame it as like John Hightower will have 100 yards receiving this year, not over under or this or that. It's a definitive statement, and then we bid on that definitive statement coming true.
That makes me feel good that everybody was in the same boat as me, having
I was
no idea
actually
what
just
this
writing
game
out
was.
the description in the chat.
A lot of comments tonight, like I do not remember all these games. We need like a glossary.
Thank you. Yes.
Sounds like Sheil's next assignment.
I don't think so.
Or mine.
Okay.
I'll put something together.
No, do not.
No.
So you work way too hard to worry about Super.
So I thought that TJ Edwards had an interception. I had a TJ Edwards thought here.
I like TJ Edwards.
He had an interception of Mac Jones in the end zone. And I was wondering, we talk about him as a 2-down sort of base defense guy. If this is like a very zone heavy scheme, I wonder if he could be a little bit better in coverage, where he's just kind of sitting in the middle of the field, eyes on the quarterback.
He does this every now and then.
Instincts are his plus. I mean, every practice I go to,
well, so does
he has
Singleton.
an interception.
Well, so
Singleton has looked good too. Yeah.
So if you remember, TJ Edwards at Wisconsin was like he
had like a 7 interception season or something like that. Yeah.
So this has always been part of his skill set, but the knock on him is that he can't run, right? And so when you're talking about cover, even if you're in zone, you need someone who can chase. And so I agree with you in terms of instincts. He's been good since he got here. It's just
I have never seen.
If they want speed, and when they went with Davion Taylor, it seemed that's what they wanted to do.
But in the red zone, he's perfect.
Well,
right?
both Edwards and Singleton, they struggle in man-to-man, right? That's where their weaknesses show up. But in zone, I mean, I can't remember seeing like linebackers make this many plays on the ball in 7-on-7s as I have over the course of camp from just those two guys. Like they get their hands on a lot of balls. Now, maybe you got to say that's probably bad for the quarterbacks too, but. Like usually the linebackers are not making a lot of plays in 7-on-7.
Yeah, Cam Newton is sort of playing like he played during games last year in some of these drills where he holds onto the ball for a while and then he just kind of chucks it into the middle of the field and a defender gets their hand on it or intercepts it. Like it looks like some of his game action. But yes, he is finding he has found a lot of Eagles linebackers, I would say. Although the TJ
Patrick
Edwards
Johnson had a batted away one today. So yeah, I think that's right. What do you think of Mac Jones, Sheil?
I mean, I think he'll I don't have like a strong feeling. I'm generally dubious of the quarterback with such limited mobility, specifically in this scheme where your wide receivers and your weapons are not great. And, Josh McDaniels, when he has not had Tom Brady as his quarterback, I believe has produced an above average offense once in like 5 seasons, 6 seasons, something like that. So I think he's okay. I mean, you see the accuracy, you know, he does make some really nice pinpoint throws.
He's also willing to throw it downfield, which I
at
like.
times. He is, but I thought he just chucks it up into traffic. Like you don't have, Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith against, players who they are clearly better than now that you're in the NFL. So I don't know that he's going to be able to do that. But why? You're smitten with Mac Jones now?
I wouldn't say that I'm smitten, but I entered practice yesterday with a pretty low opinion and started practice with a pretty low opinion. And then I thought he had a pretty good 11-on-11 session. He ended it with that nice touchdown pass over Michael Jacquet. And then I did something extremely off-brand last night, and I was flipping through TV, and the Patriots Washington football team preseason opener was on NFL Network, and I sat there and watched it for a bit. I don't know what I.
So did I.
Did you? I don't know what I was thinking. I don't necessarily. I mean, I do regret it. It was a waste of time. But I thought that Mac Jones did look pretty good, and there were a couple throws like downfield where he missed the guy, but it looked like the right read to me, and maybe like the number 80 or whoever he is stinks. And then he was
one down the left sideline. Was
yes,
nice.
Yes, it was it was an incompletion. And then I thought he was good today. Like I don't see any reason why he shouldn't start week 1 for them.
Well, I disagree with that because. Okay. Because, see, the thing that I saw today that was my concern for the Patriots, this is way too much Patriots talk, but their run game was outstanding last year. And Cam Newton had like career highs in a number of categories. Like Cam Newton was an outstanding runner last year. And so if he's part of your run game and you think your defense is going to be pretty good, which I don't know if they do think that or don't think that, then I could see the case for saying, let's just go with Cam. We're not going to be chucking it downfield. We don't need a prolific passing offense. We can run the ball a lot with him. Cam Newton's great in the red zone as a runner, and we can win that way. Now, if Mac Jones is in there, like he's got to have you've got to feel significantly better about him as a passer than Cam Newton, because I think their run game is going to take a huge step back if Mac Jones is in there, because he's not going to be involved with it at all. So it's all of a sudden mediocre to below average. Now, maybe that'll be the case. They'll say Mac Jones is a much better passer, and that's all we need to see, and he's our future. Go with him. But if you're talking about just winning this year, I actually think it might be a little bit more.
But then the question is, what's the upside with that? How much better can they be with Cam Newton as the quarterback? Isn't the upside like higher if you play Mac Jones? You go through some of the growing pains, and then there's a higher ceiling.
Yeah, I think if you're worried, if you want to look ahead to the future, and then you would just play Mac Jones. I mean, it would be pretty easy. Unless you're worried about him developing bad habits. They were like the 23rd ranked offense last year. Cam Newton did have COVID in the middle of the season. They had the worst group of pass catchers in the entire NFL. So you could talk yourself into them at least getting to like 16 or something with Cam Newton, but he does not look like, he looks like the same passer in this offense during these 2 days of practice that he did last year, which is someone who kind of is holding on to the ball, unsure of where to go with it, and some questionable decision-making.
I can make
more Pat's talk.
I can make the solemn promise now that no matter how good Zach Wilson looks next week, I will not be gassing him up in any way.
Well, you might have a Mac Jones jersey on by week 3 now.
No, let's not go too far.
We're not going to let you forget about this.
I think I still like Jalen Hurts more. So let's put it there. What was I going to say? Oh, that reminds me. I have some Moa culpas. I feel like I have been like writing this down before every episode and have not done it. A very belated congratulations to DFOP Kill a Cow on his engagement. And relatedly, congratulations on a pair of DFOP new arrivals to the Beckers and to Diana Rossini, who we were calling out for not tweeting out the Marissa story, and she has a baby the next day, which is like a pretty good excuse.
I'd say
and the father there,
Diana,
whose name we need to get, because that's the loyal Birds with Friends listener right there. So congratulations to the whole family.
Yes, she's going to be the best mom. such a fun mom for sure.
I don't know, Marissa.
Absolutely.
One day, I think you'll take that mantle. So
Now, I mean, shots fired at your wife.
I was being. Okay. I was being.
And our wives too, bro.
Coming from him.
I was being complimentary of Marissa, but yeah,
I can hear my wife upstairs steaming. Wow,
I'm married the best mother. I will say that on air, on the record. Yes.
Tony, let's not even get into the underwear discussion. All right, why don't we take a little break and hear from our sponsors?
Throw me off real quick.
Say goodbye to stressful student loan payments and take charge of your future with Ernest. Goodbye, stressful student loan payments. See you later. Don't come back. Don't want to see you anymore. Au revoir. Ernest offers low-rate student loan refinancing, and you can check your rate risk-free in just 2 minutes. With Ernest, you get radically flexible payments, and you can pick your loan term. Now, one note on the copy here, they have hyphenated radically flexible. Adverbs that end in ly do not need to be hyphenated, so just a note for next time. Now, by refinancing, you can reduce your loan term, save money, or combine multiple loans into a simple monthly payment. And if you have questions, you can even talk to a real live human at Ernest for help. Isn't it time you stopped feeling overwhelmed by your student debt? Ernest is offering our listeners a $100 cash bonus. Refinance your student debt at earnest.com/birds. Terms and conditions apply. Ernest is giving our listeners a $100 bonus when you visit earnest.com/birds to refinance your student loan. Not available in all states. Terms and conditions apply. So you can go up to that mean, stressful student loan payments and say, see you never.
Ernest Student Loan Refinancing made by Ernest Operations, LLC, NMLS number 1204917, California Financing Law, license number 6054788, 535 Mission Street, San Francisco, California, 94105. Visit earnest.com/licenses for a full list of licenses.
Today, many small business owners are busier than ever. Time spent searching for and interviewing the wrong candidates for a job opening could be time better spent growing the business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs has made it easier to get to the candidates worth interviewing faster, and, wait for it, it's free. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 100 million people. Get that? Over 750 million people. Focus on candidates with the skills and experience you need. Use screening questions to get your role in front of only the most qualified people, and then you use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates worth interviewing faster. Did you know every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn, including Sheil, who friended me on LinkedIn no less than a couple months ago. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/birds. That's linkedin.com/birds to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. All right, welcome back to Birds with Friends. We are going to get to Sliding Baltimores on the Josh McDaniels hypothetical in a minute, and then Swooper Soarcasting. A long show tonight. I apologize to the three of our other people on the show. That's my fault. But before we get to that, let's hear from John Mara today.
Taunting emphasis. What were the conversations about that among you guys?
Yeah, I mean, that's something we discuss every year in the competition committee. We get kind of sick and tired of the taunting that does go on from time to time on the field. We've tried to balance the sportsmanship with allowing the players to have fun, and there's always a fine line there, but none of us like to see that, and it's just a question of whether you can have rules that can be enforced and without taking the fun out of the game too. But nobody wants to see a player taunting another player. I know I certainly don't, and I think the rest of the members of the competition committee feel the same way too.
Classy, Zach?
Well, John is, yeah. John, I can tell you, John, like he cares about football and the product quite a bit. So he is a a good man, a classy.
Oh, I say, we cannot allow the players who we do not guarantee contracts to, and they play our blood sport, and we shorten their lifespans by playing this game, but they cannot enjoy the game. If they taunt, they must
I'm not
be
defending what he
slapped on
said.
the wrist.
I have no issue with the taunting. I'm just saying, like, I don't think John Mara is like a bad person, is what I'm saying.
I think the odds are that he probably is, but most of us are. But can we let the guys play, please? And also, like, think about it from a concussion uncle standpoint. Like, Chuck Bednarik, like, the most famous thing of his entire life is taunting, and like, we still got to tell guys they're not allowed. And like that penalty from the preseason that I saw that was viral over the weekend, like the guy runs through 8 people or whatever, he's moving the pile, and then he like looks back, and that's a penalty. What are we doing? Ridiculous.
I agree. It's a ridiculous rule. I agree with you there. And I think there's things the NFL should worry about more than that.
You just got to do it. All right.
I would go the other way and award yards for a good taunt.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What was it?
Nobody likes
Antoine
that.
Winfield
Actually,
Jr.
everybody likes that. It makes for a much more entertaining product. The players don't mind it. They're big boys. They can handle handle it. They've been playing their entire lives. Like, who are you making this rule for?
Like, we're having them, like, Urban Meyer's having guys
do. I mean, really, of all the issues
drills
you have in your league, and this is like what you're spending time on. What are you doing?
Well, yeah, that I agree with. I think there's
this has been a focus. We really want. Nobody enjoys taunting. Give me a break.
Yeah.
Did something happen?
Go
like,
cut
I don't
Josh
even know what
Brown
the
again.
impetus is of the. Anyway, all right. I thought that speaking. I don't know if this is speaking of taunting, but Jalen Mills. We forgot to yesterday mention the one minor scuffle that there was with Jalen Mills and Jordan Mailata, where Jordan Mailata thought that Jalen Mills, I think, jumped off sides, and so he tapped his helmet, which he's been telling us that's what he was taught to do for like 3 years. Jalen Mills did not took offense to that and sort of shoved him in the back, and Mailata,
Reagor got in the fray.
Reagor was chirping a little bit, but that was really the only real thing we saw. But I did see Jalen Mills. He does, I feel like, add a little juice, a little fun to that Patriots team. Like, I saw that he had an individualized handshake routine with all the rest of the defensive starters, but like, I don't think any of the other defensive starters had that with each other. So it was kind of like a line to do their handshake with Jalen Mills, and then they go about their business. So I thought that was kind of funny.
So Jalen Mills, I was watching his press conference yesterday when he was asked about the green hair, and he said, when Superman flies around the world, he doesn't change the color of his cape or anything. And it reminds me of someone once asked Malcolm Jenkins, about Jalen Mills' confidence, or like if he's going to lose his confidence, something like that. And Malcolm Jenkins was like, have you met Jalen? And I think I've told the story on the podcast before. I once asked Jalen Mills, like, if he remembers any time in his life when he wasn't confident, and he thought about it, and he said he remembered a time in the 4th grade. Okay, the fourth grade where he didn't have the pair of shoes that the other people in his classes were, and he felt in his class did, and he felt insecure about it. But it's like he could pinpoint the last time in his life when he didn't have like that. I envy like that type of swagger, I
think you've got that swagger.
You're a confident guy, I would say.
Not at the Jalen Mills level, but I appreciate you saying that.
Okay. All right. Let's talk a little bit about like the theoretical situation, the alternate universe in which Josh McDaniels was the Eagles quarterback. And, from all we know,
quarterback, huh?
He was the Eagles head coach. I think they'd be pretty bad if he was the quarterback. From all we know, he was choice number 2 behind Nick Sirianni. At least that's what we think. So it's a very realistic possibility. And there was a moment today after practice, I don't know if you guys saw this, where Josh McDaniels and Dom DeSandro, the Eagles vice president of security, were yapping it up like they're good buddies. So certainly there's some familiarity there. We know that Jeffrey Lurie knows him. He had like name dropped him by first name at a point earlier last season. So I don't know. What do you think would be different? What do you think would be different about the way we cover the team, the roster, the way we look at this season ahead? Anybody want to start?
Yeah, I mean, to me, the big difference would be, I think we would be talking about the power dynamics of the organization much more. Is the organization big enough to handle a Howie Roseman, Josh McDaniels partnership? Is that going to last? Is there going to be a power struggle? Can it work together? Who will one of them outlast the other one? Because Josh McDaniels, everything we know about him, very strong personality. I think certainly he would want to be going into a situation where he had quite a bit of control. And so I think kind of the politics in the building would be at the forefront of sort of how you view this team overall would be my big picture takeaway.
So I don't know how Josh McDaniels is as a head coach. I read a lot of stories from his time in Denver back when Bo broke the story about him interviewing with the Eagles. But I don't know how he would function as a coach a decade later. That said, I'd be fascinated by the composition of his coaching staff. And what I mean by that is if Jeff Stoutland would be here, because that's, he's someone who in theory would be bringing like a strong established, or I shouldn't say strong established staff, like maybe an established staff or his guys. And there was during that time when the McDaniels thing had steam, that's when the Stoutland thing was out there about him returning to Alabama.
That's true.
If Stoutland's not here, what does that offensive line look like? So I'd be real curious about the composition of his coaching staff and who would be here that's different and who wouldn't be here.
And that said, there was, the idea was that he was probably going to hire Jonathan Gannon, right? So maybe the defense would look basically the exact same. But I think that's a good point by you to connect the Stoutland rumors to the McDaniels rumors. I think in like how would the last several months have played out standpoint, I think there is a much better chance that the Eagles would have drafted a quarterback if Josh McDaniels was the head coach, because I think they would have thought about him as a quarterback developer and trusted his eyes more on the quarterback. I mean, he obviously liked Mac Jones enough to draft Mac Jones at 15. That's a little different. But I think if you're sitting at 6 and Josh McDaniels likes Justin Fields or Mac Jones, I think you're probably more willing to pull the trigger with a guy who theoretically you're hiring because you think he's more proven and more of a quarterback guy than with Sirianni, where you're thinking, okay, as Lurie said, we're excited about the coach you can become. Like you want to sort of start soft. Whereas I don't think that would have been the expectation with McDaniels. I don't think you hire McDaniels and send the same message that like we're pointing all eyes towards 2022.
I think that's probably true. Yeah, he would have had more say. You're bringing him in for a specific reason, or they would look at it that way, that we have this great offensive mind, and if he really pounds the table for one of these quarterbacks, should we go ahead and draft that guy? I could see that. Now, I was watching Nick Sirianni today thinking, in the spring, he's getting crushed, right, for his introductory press conferences and even some of the later ones. And I thought he's like completely eased into it. I mean, I don't know. I thought he's perfectly fine. He sounds like a lot of head coaches. If anything, I thought he sounded a little bit like when I was in Indy sitting in on the Frank Reich press conference, and it's like just a guy who's listening to your questions, trying to genuinely answer them. Bo, you asked him the same question you asked Shane Steichen, and he gave a fantastic answer. Yes. Yeah, he answered it honestly. He explained it. If he, he
it's
says
a good lesson for me to learn. Just don't ask Steichen anything that matters.
He has the old PR move of, I hope that answered your question, which
good one,
always makes the reporter feel good. He's calling people by their names. He seems totally comfortable up there. He's not stammering or anything like that. So it's just like he looked at home. Like, I would And I feel like these press conferences obviously aren't going to get the national coverage that the first ones did. And so I feel like there's this perception that he came across as, whatever you want to call it, initially, and he was getting mocked nationally, which I thought was just, ridiculous to kind of judge a guy by his press conferences off the bat.
And they did him no favors in the way that it was set up. Like, I think not that they could have done an in-person thing then. Yeah. But like now the fact that he can see the people and like interact that way, I think does make a difference.
Yeah. I thought he came up.
I was just gonna say people who know him, like they said that the thing you will see is like how likable he is, like as a person. And I don't know if I don't know how he's gonna be as a coach, but to Bo's point, like when you're around him, you can see like the charm, for lack of a better term. Like he does have like a personality. He's not the type of guy who's like trying to create barriers. Like he is trying to form connection, if you will.
Well, I think that's probably the biggest difference between the two coaching decisions they made. I mean, with McDaniels, there was potential for a complete blow up in the building. I mean, really just the likes of which we've, probably haven't seen since the Chip Kelly era. And I don't think there's going to be anything close to that with Sirianni. Now we'll see. It depends how long he's here and we can't predict the future. But I think if nothing else, he seems, like you said, just a kind of normal, likable guy who I think the players will, I don't think he's going to feud with players or anything like that. I don't think he's going to feud with people in the building. So I think it elevates the floor of his coaching tenure a little bit, because I think the worst case scenario is like a Matt Patricia situation where you can't coach, your coaching sucks, you lose a lot of games and everyone dislikes you. That is the scenario you really want to avoid in my opinion. So listen, his coaching could be bad. I don't know. I mean, it seems like they certainly seem like competent, like nothing sticks out where you watch it and say, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. We don't know if he's going to be good. Is he going to be mediocre? But I don't think he's going to be the kind of guy who just everything blows up on him.
I think that's well said. Do you think you would have a higher win total expectation for the 2021 Eagles if McDaniels was the head coach?
What's their roster? Like I can't. It's the
yeah,
same
no,
roster.
it's an interesting. Yeah, I mean,
I would not. But that is the one hire I would have just come out and we say you can't judge. You can't judge these hires. I think I probably would have come out on that one and crushed it pretty hard, because his previous tenure and people change. So maybe this is wrong, but his previous tenure as a head coach was pretty much what I was talking about with Matt Patricia. I mean, if you read the stories with the Broncos, it was just, like, this is not the guy you would want as sort of the leader of your franchise. This is not someone you would want to work with, be in the building with. And so I think that would have been a very tricky dynamic. And I would have been pretty stunned if he were the kind of guy who comes in and really works out. But again, I could be wrong. Maybe he's changed. Maybe he learned lessons, and whenever he gets his next chance, he'll be good. But I think I would have come at that one pretty hard, for better or worse.
All right, we've got one more ad break, and then we will get to Swooper Soarcasting. So enjoy.
LMNT, LMNT, not like TMNT, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I guess the L in that case would be Little Mutant Ninja Turtles. Anyway, LMNT is a tasty electrolyte drink mix. It's a drink mix, not just a drink. It's a drink mix with everything you need and nothing you don't. That means lots of salt and no sugar. LMNT is formulated to help anyone with their electrolyte needs and is perfectly suited to folks following a keto, low-carb, or paleo diet. Nice job by the copywriters here. Perfectly suited, not hyphenated. LMNT contains a science-backed, yes, hyphenated, electrolyte ratio. 100 megs of sodium, 200 megs of potassium, and 60 of magnesium. Megs, milligrams, Marvin Gaye, could be anything. With none of the junk, no sugar, no coloring, no artificial ingredients, no gluten, no fillers, no BS. So, if you are an athlete, if you are fasting, if you are in a low-carb, paleo, keto, whole food situation, if you have some kind of a health condition that requires a little bit of an infusion of electrolytes and salt, guess what? LMNT is here for you. And the science backs it up. Everyone needs electrolytes, especially those on low-carb diets, practice intermittent or extended fasting, or are physically active, or if you sweat a lot. And the proof is in the market, frankly. There are Olympians who use LMNT. There are NBA and NFL and NHL teams who use LMNT. There are special forces like the Navy SEALs who use LMNT. Even tech leaders. I mean, we don't need to be gassing up the tech leaders too much, right? No questions asked refunds. You can't do better than that. If you don't like it, if it's too salty for you, so what? You send it back. No questions asked. Totally risk-free. Drink LMNT is a healthy alternative to sugary electrolyte drinks. Each grab-and-go stick pack replaces essential electrolytes with no sugar, no coloring, no artificial ingredients, or any other junk. I drink LMNT when I'm going on a little workout on the bike. It's nice. It's a little kick. You get a good flavor. I've mentioned that habanero one in the past, which you might not think is a good pairing with a workout, but it keeps the engine flowing. And as a member of our community, LMNT has a special offer for you. Claim your free LMNT sample pack. You only cover the cost of shipping. Get yours here at drinklmnt.com/birdswithfriends. Have you ever heard your mom or dad or grandparent tell a story and thought to yourself, wow, there is still so much I don't know about your life? If that's you, then I'd like to introduce you to Artifact. Artifact, listener, Artifact. Artifact is the best way to capture the life story of someone you love, like a parent or grandparent. They do this by setting that person up with one of their professional interviewers who leads them through a conversation about the chapters of their life, from childhood to their young adulthood to their career and everything in between. Artifact then edits those conversations into a series of one-of-a-kind podcasts that you can share with family and keep for future generations to hear. Whether it's your grandfather talking about his upbringing, your mom talking about how she moved across the country for a fresh start, or a favorite uncle dishing on what your dad was really like as a kid. Artifact makes it easy and fun. And if you're wondering what the finished product looks and sounds like, there's a sample that Artifact is allowed to share publicly, linked in the show notes. It's two sisters talking about the elder sister's bat mitzvah, and it has all the hallmarks of a great Artifact. It's heartfelt, it's funny, and it ends with the eldest sister doing a Whitney Houston impression as she belts out, "The greatest love of all." It was an epic bat mitzvah, and it makes for an epic Artifact. It couldn't be easier to get started. You go to heyartifact.com and choose the type of interview you'd like to do. They've got a bunch of options, or you can create your own. Artifact makes it super easy to book your interview on their website, and the interview lasts about a half an hour, and you do it over the phone. Bottom line, Artifact is your shortcut to creating something that you'll keep coming back to year after year. And you don't have to take my word for it. The Wirecutter named Artifact to its list of the best gift for families. And if you use the code BIRDS, you will save $40 on your first purchase. Get started at heyartifact.com.
Hey, Zach, Sheil, and Marissa. Not Hey Artifact. How you guys doing?
Doing great. Enjoying this pod.
Fantastic. Sheil, are we still?
Let's
have
finish up. Yeah, let's finish up.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to do a little Swooper Soarcasting. So for those of you who are new to the show or have forgotten the rules, which is probably everybody, there will be 12 different suggestions or prompts or predictions for the 2021 season. And Zach, Sheil, and I each have 24 turkeys with which to bid. And we don't know what all the things are, so we're going to see how it plays out. And turkeys that are not used tonight will carry over to next week, and then there will be one more week after that. So I think this is a good way to put a little snapshot into the way we think about this team in this moment in training camp. Like, are we overvaluing, what we've seen from Quez Watkins so far, or are we silly to think that there's a chance that Zach Ertz could even play a game for this Eagles team this season? So why don't we get to it? Do you guys have any more questions on the rules?
So there's 3 weeks of this, right?
There's 3 weeks of this, so you can carry your turkeys. We know you love to hoard those bad boys. And 24 each, which means that the equilibrium bid, I believe, is 6. Is that fair?
If I just signed off now, I would get to keep all my 24 turkeys for next week?
That is correct.
Okay, just asking.
Okay.
So wait, I actually have a question.
Yes.
We're not doing these during the season.
No, we are.
We're
Okay.
But
resetting.
it resets.
We're resetting.
Yes, the turkeys
Okay.
reset in week 1 because in during the regular season, Swooper Soarcasting is a week by week game in which you're predicting something that happens that weekend.
Yeah,
Right,
we'll see if we do them in the regular season.
Okay, but these will not.
And just
count
to
until
open
the
up
end
the
of the
curtain
year.
a little bit wider, at like 11:30 last night, I'm going to bed like, how can we add a little juice to the show tonight? And I text Sheil and Zach like this long text message. Maybe we bring back Swooper Soarcasting.
Long.
Wow. I don't know. I guess it wasn't that long. I was trying to not make it long. And landed with a thud, I would say.
It's not true. I texted you this morning. Right back. No problem. Sounds good to me.
Zach was actually the first to submit his. I will give him that. So
I had my mic
I didn't even
there.
know we were playing it. I was not included on this text message. So yeah, Zach sending him was like the first clue that we were playing. So.
I think I had tweeted about it, but
Oh,
I did not let you know.
I didn't see your tweet.
Well,
Yeah, no, I sent
you
a
have me blocked.
text
That
at
makes sense.
I sent
Yeah.
a text at 6:40 this morning with
It was like,
absolutely no interest in
why do we need to
participating.
do this? Basically,
Yeah.
Yeah. And I sent a text at what time saying 6:22. I said, no problem on my end. Yeah. So
I mean, that's
don't
that's
say
a
like
bit-
it landed with
that's
a thud.
that's about the rudest thing that you can say at 6:20. Knowing how like gung ho and ready for the day you are at that part of the day, and how generally nice you are, for you to say no problem on my end is like, you might as
I
well
would
have,
agree with that.
have
That's
come
like an
slime
editor.
on me.
That's like an editor just asked you to file some like annoying thing that you don't want to do, and you're like, all right, whatever. It's easier to.
No,
just
so
do it.
I'm very self-conscious. I'm very self-conscious about my morning text because then my wife, she told me I can't send texts to people before 6 a.m. So like, I'm in bed sometimes at like 5:20 and like, I want to like,
You
shoot
got
a
the
text to
shakes.
someone. I want to shoot the text to someone. So yeah, she's like, you can't send texts that early.
Hey Jeffrey, it's me, Zach.
I would imagine in some more like some marriages that would have issues. It would be like don't text people after midnight or something. But for Zach's, it's don't text people before 6 a.m.
Yeah, she says it's rude if people are they get the chime on their phone and it's like
Yeah, that's
No,
on them.
so-
My phone's off when I go to sleep. So
Fully off.
yeah, no, I'm not silent. Silent mode.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll see it when I wake up.
Yeah, that's fine. Off. I thought that would have been crazy. I mean,
I'm not
I've
a
never seen anything like
maniac.
that. Okay.
Yeah, are you crazy?
All right, Marissa, are you ready to open
I'm
up
ready.
the bidding?
So the winner of this will be crowned at the end of the season.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
And we'll obviously be counting on Dennis to hold us all accountable here.
Wait a minute. Sorry, now I'm confused. So these turkeys are going to carry over into the regular season?
No, they're not going to
No.
carry over, but they'll be awarded at the end of the season. Like, we're not going to find out if these things happen until the end of. Oh, some of them could. They could happen along the
There will be
way.
a preseason winner. There will be a preseason
Correct.
winner.
Yeah.
And just for scoring purposes, a correct prediction only counts as 1 point. It's not like you don't get however many turkeys you bid. You get 1 point for it being correct.
Let's please get this over with.
No problem on my end.
All right.
All right. Let's kick things off with Alex Singleton leads the team in tackles.
which he did last year.
6. Oh, wait, sorry.
Ooh.
Oh, wait. So this is the but leads the team in this
During the
regular
regular season,
Oh,
Alex
yeah.
Singleton leads the team in tackles.
Oh yeah, 6.
7.
8.
Do I hear 8? Oh,
Ooh. I'll go 9.
wow.
10.
Ooh. I don't know what kind of juice, what kind of stuff you guys have on the other ones. This was my submission, I will say. I'll go 11.
Wow.
Okay.
Zach?
You can have it. I'm not going
That's
to go
way too
over
many
11.
turkeys
What
for
am I
me.
crazy?
All right.
Wow.
So
All
it's
right.
Spending-
The
I'm
bow
not-
for 11.
I think if Alex Singleton stays healthy, he will lead the team in tackles, no doubt.
He could lead the NFL in tackles.
He could. I mean, he could have.
could.
He could have 100. He has been like just a hellacious menace over the past
this isn't
week.
just
He's
a
all over
training
the
camp
place.
thing. I mean, last year, how many tackles
Right.
did he have in the limited amount of time?
Yeah.
Right.
But
I
that's
remember
like,
hitting you guys with the stat later.
He led
the season.
he led the team in tackles last year. Played like or started with 10 games or whatever it was.
it's like 46% of your turkeys on Alex Singleton's tackles.
See me
Yeah, but
school
I
him
saw
there,
him just.
Z-Berm?
All I say is
came in
he's.
and then scold him. Now he's down 11 turkeys. That's how you do it.
I feel
All
good about that.
We got 11 more to go. Okay.
Oh my God.
And we're an hour and 14 minutes in. All right. Zach Ertz starts at least one game for the Eagles.
2,
1, 3.
Do I hear 4?
4,
5.
Going once. Going twice.
6.
7.
8.
Going 8.
Yeah, 8.
Wow.
Hell's the matter
Going
with
once.
you?
Going twice.
9.
Wow.
I mean,
I think it's a. Yeah, I mean,
we
we can unpack it after the bidding.
Like,
Do I hear 10? Going once. Going twice. Sold to Zach for 9.
okay.
I think that's a good. I think that's a good bid for you, Zach.
Like if
I
he's on the
saw-
roster week 1.
Did you see the Jamie Apodi tweet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Was
Do you
that
think
real?
that was a direct quote or was yeah? I have
I
no
am
idea.
No.
It seemed like it was.
I thought it was. I thought it was serious. Did you?
Yeah, I perceived it as serious as well.
All right, you can go ahead, Marissa. I'll pull this up and read it, but you can go with the next
Well,
one.
here's the thing
Okay.
about Ertz.
We
There are
don't
two.
really
There
need
are
to
there.
go in
No, I think we could
that
talk about it for a
one.
second. There are two things at play, right? One is that if they really don't want him on the team and he doesn't want to be here, it's a little crazy that he's been playing so much and he played in the preseason. Like they are risking being on the hook for all his money if he gets injured, and he's risking getting hurt and not getting to go somewhere else. Like that's crazy. And as Zach said, we're 2 weeks away. He's been a part of the offense. It seems like he's going to be here. The flip side to that is if he really wanted to be here, we would have spoken to him at some point. Like he has not given a press conference, and that would not be the case if he was like happy to be here.
I
I don't think he wants to be here, but it's like, I look at the opportunity cost, right? Think of the amount of snaps they are investing in Zach Ertz being a part of their first team offense. Like if they don't have plans for him to be here right now, then they've burned 3 weeks of training camp with this guy taking all these snaps with the ones.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's
Who's
fine.
going to get those
I mean,
anyway?
it's not like you're keeping Goddard's legs fresh. It's fine.
I think it'll be a cut down weekend trade.
You think so?
I think I'm still like, I still think that's going to happen, but
Would you have gone, Zach? I think that's a good, like.
I basically spent like
bet.
what 38% of my turkeys on him making the roster. Like that.
Now the best situation here is if Ertz stays on the team, but Dallas Goedert starts all 16 games. And Ertz is coming off the bench.
Yes,
that's definitely the best outcome.
Yeah.
So this is the tweet, and we are definitely not going to spend this much time on every one of these. But this is from Jamie Apodi. So she has a picture of Zach from ABC. She has a picture of Zach Ertz talking to Bill Belichick and says, Zach Ertz warmly introducing Coach Bill Belichick to his wife, Julie Ertz. Coach to Ertz, I'm still going to get you someday. That's in quotes. Ertz with a smile. Belichick responds, quote, but Howie wants 2 first-round picks and 2 of my grandchildren, end quote. Like, that would be a weird thing to just, like, be joking about, right?
You think Belichick knows the names of his grandchildren?
Of course he does.
Yeah, I think he does.
Yeah.
But
That's still my favorite.
That's
my
hilarious.
Favorite.
That's, like, underplayed if this was an actual thing that was
Isn't that
happening.
crazy? Yeah.
Okay.
I guess we
All
should.
right.
I guess we should have done our own digging on that. My favorite Belichick thing is from the 2 Bills documentary, the 30 for 30.
That was awesome.
When it's like the end of the day with him and Parcells, like they're walking around, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, like, didn't you have like heart surgery? How you doing?" Like only at the very end of the day does it occur to him to ask about Bill Parcells' health.
That's coaching life. That's not important. Practice schedule is important. All right, Marissa.
All right.
Next pod, by the way, next pod.
Oh my gosh.
On that topic, we're not gonna do it tonight, but some gems on coaching from Flying Coach this season. The podcast, the Sean McVay, Peter Schrager podcast. Some gems in there that we can get to next podcast.
Okay, we'll hold you to that.
You host the show then, and we can do a segment on that.
The next podcast is the post game.
We got
pod.
like 3 weeks between. Yeah, we got like 3 weeks or whatever before
Saturday's pod, maybe.
All right.
Okay. Josh Sweat will have double-digit sacks.
Clearly a Zach submission.
It's not actually. Yeah.
By the way, I said we're not going to spend a lot of time on all these, but I do have to call Bo out because Bo on the pod that I wasn't on, that I was listening on my road trip. So we had the podcast where we each made some type of prediction or something. And I believe I'm the one who said, national media is going to come in and say that Josh, but your phrasing in the pod was, we all said.
Okay.
So when I get something wrong, it's Sheil, and when I get something right,
That's
it's
fair.
we all said. Okay.
But I thought that it was your second best prediction to the Super Bowl thing.
Well, you still don't get to take credit for it.
I don't know, but I think I then circled back and gave you the credit that you deserve.
All right. I don't know if I was driving somewhere in I don't know, Ohio. I was trying to
you never gave your story on the drive from State College to Buffalo.
There wasn't a great story there.
Okay.
It's a scary drive. There are a lot of people who still love Donald Trump. I learned during that drive. That was the only place I drove where I couldn't believe that there were still these remnants up. But so I made that drive straight and did not exit my vehicle.
Did you go through Allegheny Forest?
That sounds familiar. I believe I saw signs for that.
All right. Next pod, I'll talk about my Allegheny Forest experience.
We'll save that.
Four turkeys.
Josh Sweat, double-digit sacks. 4 turkeys.
Do I hear 5?
I already spent a lot of turkeys on the Ertz thing, so.
Going once?
Yeah, I'll let you have that for 4.
All right. Both.
You know how hard it is to get double-digit sacks, Brandon Graham?
You know how hard it is to win a Swooper Soarcasting? What a good, that's
going to
below
be easy for me. I'm going to get the
value.
last 10 for 1 each.
All right.
Zach, how could you let me get your boy?
The Birds will get
9 left.
The Birds will get the Colts first-round pick next season.
Ooh, good one.
So 75% or 70% in the playoffs.
1 turkey. 2 turkeys.
3.
4.
5.
Going once. Going twice. Sold to Zach for 5.
Okay.
Lots of
All right.
That was a quiet one.
Zach
We're all falling
has
asleep. How are
Zach
you?
has 10 turkeys left. I have 9 turkeys left. Sheil has 24 turkeys left. And there are 8 submissions left to go.
Grab a turkey and wipe my brow with it, if I may. Okay.
Running backs and tight ends finish with more receptions than wide receivers.
This is Zach's because it was in his practice report today.
Yes. Correct. Thank you for reading. I appreciate that. You can all check that out on the Athletic right now.
So this is combined running backs and tight ends combined finish with more receptions than wide receivers.
Correct.
2 turkeys.
3.
4. I forgot that this is the best part of the show. The best part of the entire show.
I shouldn't have gone. I should not have gone what I did on Ertz. I should not have gone what I did on Ertz.
Oh my gosh.
5.
You love this. I mean, it does make sense, especially if you think Ertz is going to still be here.
Going once. Going twice.
6.
Whew.
I'm over my budget, so no, can't do it.
Sheil?
No, I want no part of this.
All right, sold to Bo for 6.
Okay. Is Bo done?
No, I have 3 turkeys left.
3. And Zach has how many?
10.
10. And how many questions do we have left?
7.
7.
Oh my gosh! All right.
Landon Dickerson starts more than 3 games this season.
Huh. 3.
Does 3 is 3 a push? Does it have to be 4?
It says
No, it
the
says
question
more
says
than
more
3.
than
So,
3.
Yeah.
so
You gotta get
4.
four.
So
So it's
4
4.
more. Okay.
Yeah,
She'll start at 3.
Yeah.
he did. I can't bid, unfortunately.
Once,
Yeah, I figure that's why he started at 3.
going twice.
No.
Sold to Sheil.
That's pretty good for Sheil.
Of course, the pick that I ripped will be the one I will be rooting for. But I wasn't ripping him, so it's okay.
Okay.
All right.
You were in a way.
The Eagles finish in the top 5 in the NFL in 4th down attempts.
4th down
3.
attempts.
4.
Attempts. Yeah. Could be trailing a lot of these games, so you're just going for it at the end. That could juice the stats. Well, I'll go 5.
6.
Top 5. 7.
Going once. Going twice.
That's a good one. You can have it. I shouldn't have gone so high on Ertz.
Sold.
So
To
real
Sheil
quick
for 7.
for our listeners, because we talked about this briefly on the post-game pod, but we did not have a podcast over the weekend. Nick Sirianni said that he did game management in that preseason game the way he would a regular season game, which would mean that 4th and 3 from the 29-yard line when he attempted a
Yeah, I didn't like to hear that.
field goal. He said that's the way. He said he would approach it the same way. I asked him specifically if he expects to be aggressive on 4th downs this year. He started his answer, and then he said, I need to keep that, close to the vest for strategy purposes. And so I'm fascinated to see it because I think the person that he answers to wants to see him be aggressive on 4th downs.
Yes,
Okay.
I think that's right.
All right.
Thinking about this and desperately resisting their trajectory. I will regret the way I allocated my turkeys. That's why you set a budget. Oftentimes, I measure twice and cut once. So I would like if I knew what else was coming.
Kutztown. That's actually Kutztown, but
yeah. Okay.
All right.
I never do that. I just say let it rip.
yeah.
Jalen Hurts will rush for more than 661 yards.
3 turkeys.
4.
I'll do. Did you do 4, Zach?
Yes.
I'll do 5.
Do I hear 6?
6.
I'll do 7.
Going once.
Do it, Zach.
Going twice.
There's 2 weeks after this, and there's more turkeys. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, but
exhaust
you need to
my
win
effort.
something. This is a gimme.
This is not a gimme. There's so many variables that could happen. First,
If he stays healthy, he hits this
Okay.
so easily.
Do I hear 8? 3, 2, 1. Sold the Sheil for 7.
How many turkeys do I have left?
You have
Sorry.
7 left.
I have 7. All right.
I wasn't going to spend more than 6 turkeys on anything right now. So,
But what if it was the Eagles play a game this season? Like
anyone,
you can't
always,
be so finite.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know
All
what
right.
else is coming down the pike.
Okay, I have 3 turkeys left. Sheil has 7 turkeys left. Zach has 10 turkeys left. 5 questions to go.
The Eagles will have a
4 questions
positive
to go.
turnover ratio this year.
3.
Can't bid. Good jump.
4.
5.
Going once.
Yeah.
You're letting him have it?
Yeah.
Okay. Sold to Zach for 5. All right.
Interesting.
An offensive lineman
3 left.
makes his first Pro Bowl.
So that would take out Lane, Brooks, and Kelsey.
To be Mailata,
Sayamalu,
Dickerson,
Opeta.
Pryor. I'm just naming all the guys. Poor
1
Pryor.
turkey. 1 turkey.
2.
Do I hear 3? Going once. Going twice. Sold for 2.
That'll be a
That's
fun
right.
one for you, Zach.
I guess it didn't say Eagles offensive lineman, Marissa.
Oh,
So
it's
what
true.
it done does.
I
but-
like that. Okay.
No, I
Great
think we didn't.
technology.
I think we did interpret it as Eagles.
That
Yeah.
was Bo's question. So
I did mean Eagles. Although I think that if Dunn makes the Pro Bowl,
Michael Dunn makes
we're
it.
all going.
Yeah, we'll
going
give
to
it to
Hawaii,
you.
wherever it is. I mean,
It's in Vegas.
we're all going to Vegas.
Yeah, Z-Berm. Let's hit the tables, my friend. I want to see this vice. The
So
one
I'm sorry,
vice
I
you
can't
have.
double down. I have a budget set.
Well, no, you always double down on 11. So.
Or if it's a giveaway for Jalen Hurts rushing for 662 yards.
All right.
All right,
The
2
odds are
more.
better on 11.
2 more. A quarterback not named Jalen Hurts or Joe Flacco starts for the Eagles.
1. Turkey.
Starts a game, I presume, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And I should specify at quarterback.
Right. I'll go 2 on that.
I'll go 3. I don't know what the the unopened door behind prompt number 12 is, but I'll go for this
Wait,
one.
how many are there after this?
There's only one more after this.
Oh, and how
But you
many
can carry your turkeys over.
does Zach have?
Yes. He has 3 left.
Okay,
So if you go to 4, you get it.
and then I would have 3 for the next one.
Correct.
Probably be smart, but then what? Zach and I would tie for the next one. Or it's whoever yells it out. How do we?
Whoever
do that?
yells it out. I also have 3.
Oh, okay. I don't want this one.
Okay. I'm
Okay.
out.
So Zach got this one?
No, I got
No
it for
problem.
3.
3. Okay. All right, Sheil, this happened a lot last year, but this last one is yours. So you need to start remembering which ones you submitted. so you will know. Oh, I know what's on behind door number 12.
There's no chance of that ever happening. You messaged me 5 minutes before we started recording and said, need Soarcasting. And I just typed out the first 3 things that popped in my head.
All right. Let's see what's behind door number 12. Jaylen Reagor will have more receiving yards than Justin Jefferson.
You have to win this. You have to take it for your brand.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, how many does Zach have?
3.
All right, 3.
Oh, Zach, what are you doing?
He doesn't want that.
Yeah, but make him take it at 4. Put in your 3.
First off, he might have just said you can have it if I bet 3, and then I wouldn't have those turkeys next week. I was gonna go 2, and then make him go up to 3. But
You gotta play the game, Zach. What are we doing here?
Why are you coaching him? He's allowed to do what he wants with his turkey.
Because I thought he was gonna. I thought he went to the drawing board this offseason to
Who won?
rejigger his strategy.
Of this last year, I don't remember.
I won.
why is a good strategy to exhaust everything that you have? That is not a good strategy. Right?
Because
A
you're
good
still gonna have a chance. It's a
Have you ever heard of a
it's
rainy
a
day
renewable
fund?
resource.
Rainy day fun.
I think that's a drop.
All right.
I mean-
So just to recap,
No,
very
come
quickly.
on.
We each got 4 things. Mine are Alex Singleton will lead the Eagles in tackles this season. Josh Sweat has double-digit sacks. The running backs and tight ends combined for more receptions than the wide receivers, and a quarterback not named Joe Flacco or Jalen Hurts starts a game. I think that means if one of those guys changes their name and starts a game, I get the credit. Sheil's is Landon Dickerson has at least 4 starts. The Eagles finished top 5 in 4th down attempts. Jalen Hurts has more.
Hold on. I need to ask a quick question for the audience while you read these out. So if I don't start Hard Knocks right at 10 and try to start it at 10:15, will it be available on the app at that time, or do I need to watch it live
I think it will be available. I think you can start it at any time after 10 o'clock.
on the HBO
On
Max
the
app?
yes.
Okay. Commenters, if you can confirm.
You
it
can
tonight,
start
go
it.
ahead.
You can start it anytime after 10 from scratch.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts rushes for over 661 yards, and Jaylen Reagor has more receiving yards than Justin Jefferson. I mean, that's not that bad if Justin Jefferson gets hurt. all of a sudden.
You're
You're not rooting for it, but you're not upset about it. And you have 3 turkeys to carry over. Zach has Zach Ertz starts at least one game.
I thought I had 4 turkeys to carry over. I thought I had 7, and I used 3 on the last one.
You do. You're right.
Classic.
You do.
See what happens when I don't pay attention?
The first time you've ever paid attention. And look what happens.
I know that's
you
right.
earned yourself a turkey. Zach Ertz makes a start. The Eagles get the Colts' first-round pick. The Eagles have a positive turnover ratio. That's a good one. And then an Eagles offensive lineman is named to his first Pro Bowl, and he has 3 turkeys to carry over. And Sheil, of course, a reminder from Wenzel to queue up City of God after you watch Hard Knocks.
I wish I could bet turkeys on that not happening.
So there was a lot of those comments in there.
Yeah, he's hitting that part.
Yeah, I was close to putting that one in, but figured we'd go all football this one.
All right.
Okay. All right. Well, that'll do it for this episode of Birds with Friends.
I'll be changing the password too.
No, this was great. For those of you who have not been watching live or are not watching on YouTube, you're just listening. A lot of good stuff going on in the scroll in the comments that you can watch on YouTube. And by the way, if you want to make sure that you are alerted to a live Birds with Friends, subscribe to the Birds with Friends channel and make sure that you are also liking these videos and helping us out in other ways, like leaving comments on Apple Podcasts, following Sheil on Instagram, and showing up at Zach's house to ask for an autographed copy of his book.
I will show up to your house. You don't have to show up to mine. Yes.
Okay, fair enough. We will be back
to the Andy talk.
We will be back on Thursday night, maybe early Friday morning, with the post-game pod following the Eagles' second preseason game against the New England Patriots. And then we continue training camp. It keeps cranking along. So for Marissa and Zach and Sheil, I'm Bo. Thanks for listening. And as always, we love you.